Good morning, good afternoon, whatever time of day it is that you are listening, folks. Thank you very, very much for listening. Today is the 29th of September, year of our Lord 2020-25. Welcome to yet another edition of the Gulping Hour, hosted by Nicholas Hinkle, a.k.a. Motanoa. Pissed off, mad. I'm angry. I'm probably going to take it out on the show. I don't know how I'm going to do it. Yeah, I just had a really bad day. I'm really cranky right now. As I'm taping this, Sunday Night Football, Cowboys, Packers, 13-2. 5 minutes left in the second quarter when I decided to come tape the show. Couldn't tell you a thing that happened in this one. Had a really, I'll say, frustrating day with my son. Maddie did have the day off of work, but she's out of the house. She was taking care of some stuff just like a networking thing. She had to do it for work. Got a nice little gift bag. But that meant that I was with my kid all day, the same way that I am throughout the week when she's at work. And he was just a monster today. And then when it was time to go to sleep, it was about 7 o'clock. I was like, all right, bro, let's go to sleep. And then it's 8:30, and he went to sleep 5 minutes ago. Missed everything that was happening, Cowboys, Packers, the build-up to this game, the Micah Parsons, is he going to get booed? Did he get booed? Fuck if I know. How did this safety happen? I come out here, the Cowboys got 2 points. What happened? I don't know. It's unknowable. I don't know what happened. I'm mad. I didn't get to see this. But it is dumb. I'll say that before I talk about the rest of the stuff that's making me mad today. Well, why don't I finish doing that, and then I'll get back to the Cowboy. What else is pissing me off today? Why was Baltimore and Kansas City blacked out in my area? Why? Why couldn't I watch that game in Chicago on network television? Or, by the way, I pay for Paramount Plus. Why is it blacked out? Why can I not have both options? Why the fuck are we still doing market blackouts in 2025? Why? All the commissioners address this. They say, we'd love to find a way to show us the fucking game. How about that? Just show it to us. Why are we paying as a family for Paramount Plus if I only get to see... When the soccer games happen, I can watch anything I fucking want. I can watch any of the games. Any of them. Fox, CBS, I can watch any of them. But when it's football, because the Bears were playing, and this is the actual answer why it was blacked out, because the Bears were playing on CBS in the exact same time slot. And so living in Chicago, what do you think they were going to prioritize? Bears, Raiders? Or Chiefs, Ravens? It sounds like the tone of my voice is indicative of an answer. So I could not, and in the 5 minutes that I realized that I'm not going to be able to watch this fucking game, are you kidding me? In 5 minutes, I experienced a year's worth of emotions and rage and contemplation. I came out of retirement. I said, let's do the illegal stream. I have to do it. I've sworn it off. I'm just not doing it anymore. I don't have the time to do illegal streams anymore. I don't. All right? I'm an adult. I got a fucking family. We're all sitting out in the living room. I don't have time to close out of 15 Jerkmate ads before the damn game will actually start to play. I can only look at so many titties and labias and fucking vulvas in 4K on a 50-inch television with my family in the living room before I'm like, we just gotta start paying for shit. I can't do this anymore. You click the link, ad, close out, click it again, ad, close out, click it again, ad, close out, click it again. It works. Now we get to the game window. Hit play, ad, close out, ad, close out, ad, close out, ad, close out, ad, close out. Game's playing now. It's playing now. But now you gotta make it go full screen. Double click. New tab, ad, close out, double click, add, new tab, close out, double click, add, huge boobs, close out, double tap, the most aggressive hardcore porn you've ever seen in your life, close out of it, double tap, the most racist shit you've ever seen in your life is full screen on the chat, close out, double tap, the game's playing, finally, 2.5 minutes go by, buffer. And then it goes again. It's a really quick buffer. You got 5 minutes. It freezes for 10 seconds. You say, fuck me, I got to refresh this thing. Because now we're a damn hour behind. Watch this on Stream East, crack streams, meth streams. Name the shits. And I'm not federal for saying that shit, by the way. We got an email. I'm not going to name the guy. He said he didn't want me to read this on the show. I'm not going to, but you know that I'm talking about you. We got an email from a guy over the weekend that pissed me the fuck off. And I'm more mad about it in this moment than I actually was when it happened. I thought it was just kind of like, really? You think this is a thing? Now I'm just mad about other shit, and I'm going to take it out on this guy. But I'm not going to name him. Sends me an email. Hey, bro, will you tell Jacob, a.k.a. Rusty Buckets, to stop mentioning Stream East? Stream East. By the way, Stream East. Will you tell him to stop fucking saying that? Because all of these websites are getting taken down, and it's getting harder to find all these fucking games. You think, and listen, Jacob is a brother. I love him as a man. There are a few men in the world that I love more than Jacob. He's probably in like the top 12 to 15. Well, he's higher than 12 to 15. Jacob, you're higher than 12 to 15. So I'm saying this, I'm qualifying this with, I'm not trying to make this sound like a mean thing, but like on Jacob's main channel, like the channel that he like be uploading on, I mean, I don't even know how many subs he's at, like 150,000. I don't know how many subs Jacob has. What the fuck is this Jacob's problem for? Because he's mentioning Stream East? Because like Kenny's mentioning Stream East? Dog, the federal fucking government a year ago was like, hey, there are streams that happen on the internet that are indistinguishable from the actual broadcast themselves, and we need to do something about this. LeBron James was caught using Stream East. Like what was that even, a year or two ago? I don't know how not that long ago. So LeBron knows about it, but the feds, you think this is some fucking underground thing? I would wager, I swear to God, more people use this shit than the actual networks themselves. So when you see these massive ratings come out for games, they're not accounting for the, you know what I mean? There's no way to account for the people who are pirating these games. You know? But I would argue in a lot of these instances, it doubles. Maybe not for like the Super Bowl, because I think for the Super Bowl, people will typically go over to somebody's house who can actually just, you know what I mean? They can just play the game. Like an actual TV. Well, not an actual TV, but you know what I'm saying. I don't know. How about the fact that every major news outlet in the fucking world within the last month since Stream East got taken down for 10 minutes, and then 80 mirrored sites popped up. Stream East did not get taken down. I mean, the New York Times, the Hindustan Times, the Telegraph wrote about this, bro. Everybody wrote about the fact that the world's largest pirating site for sports was nuked. But it wasn't? Us talking about this in open spaces anymore. I've spent way too long talking about this to the point where I don't even remember what I was talking about. I was still talking about I'm just talking about stuff that I'm mad about today. What else was there? It's unknowable. Let's just talk about the damn games. I'm not mad at you, bro, for sending in that email, by the way. You caught me at a bad time in this exact moment, and it unfortunately, your email happened to be tangentially related to something that I'm pissed off about right now. And so you being like, hey, tell Jacob you telling me to tell Jacob to stop mentioning Stream East is fucking wild. I will say that. That's wild. But I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at other shit, and I'm taking it out on you, and I sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, brother, without naming you, apologize for that. Let's talk ball. NFL, Week 4. Lions-Browns, I'm going to keep this quick. If you just looked at the score for this game, let me pull it up real quick. Was it 34-10? Yeah, 34-10 was the final score. Lions beat Cleveland by 24 points. You're going to hear that. It's, he's keeping it quick because he's super they just dusted the Browns. They didn't. Didn't really feel that way watching the game. It kind of felt like for the entire second half, everybody on both teams, including the referees, were just kind of trying to go home. The refs sucked, again, for both teams. They sucked. Super ticky-tack shit called on both teams. Very inconsistent and annoying. 17 points on turnovers. Love that. Very cool. Joe Flacco threw Kirby Joseph an interception that is the freest interception that you'll ever see in your life. And I can't think of a player on the Lions defense, and the secondary specifically, that I would love to see get free stats more than Kirby Joseph. Pad those interception numbers, brother. Technically, he doesn't really need it. I mean, he led the league in the interceptions a year ago. And I think 2 years ago, he was up there. If he didn't lead it 2 years in a row, he was up there, Kirby Joseph was. So, this is just kind of what he does. Sure, bro, get a free one. Love it. Joe Flacco just kind of, gave up in the game. I don't know. It was a weird game. I mean, there was a moment where Hutch got absolutely murdered. Like, he got clotheslined. Like, they called it, I think, Vilma on the broadcast called it like a hip check. No, dog, he got clotheslined for real. And he was on the ground and didn't move. He wasn't moving for like 30 seconds. And the Detroit sports sphere collectively held its breath and said, no shot. It's not happening again. That Aiden Hutchinson is done for the year. And then he gets up and he runs off the field. And then after the game, he was like, yeah, I got the wind knocked out of me. No shit. If you watch that clip, he got murdered. But he's fine. Lions fans, we're fine. I'm just throwing the tape out on this one. I'm serious. I don't even really want to talk about it. I just thought it was an ugly win. It was there are positive takeaways. I just, namely, I don't know, the fact that the Lions 3 weeks ago against Green Bay played a buzzsaw defense and shit the bed. But that's because they were playing outside of their identity and the play calling was terrible. And then you fast forward like, ha, the Browns, ha. Yeah, but they don't stink. They don't stink. Yeah, they're 1-3. They don't stink. Ha, Deshaun Watson. That's one of, if not the best defense in the entire NFL. Right? And so for the Lions to put up 34, and yeah, sure, those turnovers really helped. If they didn't generate, all three of those, the score could have looked different. I don't think they were really in a position to lose that game. Again, I think that Browns offense just was uninspired and terrible. But it wasn't, I don't know. There was some back and forth over the course of the week from John Morton, the Lions OC, and Myles Garrett, fucking world eater defensive end for the Cleveland Browns about like, well, John Morton's like, well, they've never seen a run game like ours. And Myles Garrett is like, that's cool, but they've never seen a defensive front like ours. Which is, not ever, but, this season. Yeah, that's true. That's true. On both cases, it's true. They weren't talking shit. They were just, kind of a little bit, but they were just sort of like, they were more gassing up their own guys than talking shit about the other team. You know what I mean? And I don't know what the rushing totals ended up being today, but I think Gibbs went for damn near 100. I don't think he did not break the century mark, but he got close. And I don't remember what Monty was at, but there's no way he got close. No shot he got close. He didn't. No way he got close. No, I don't even think but I can probably look at this really quick. I would be shocked if David Montgomery had over like, I want to say 30, but that seems low. 40 yards rushing. Let's see, Gibbs. Yeah, dog, he had fucking 12. That's what I'm saying. I was like, I don't think it was 40. Seems like a lot. Yeah, Gibbs had 91. Monty had 12. Amon-Ra went for 70 yards in the air. That damn J-Mo, man. It's one of those games from him. And Goff. Just that connection specifically. Jared didn't have a bad game. The one pick he threw was kind of annoying, but it didn't fucking matter. Let's just go home. That J-Mo connection was not there at all. Looked like J-Mo from 2 years ago. He had a couple drops. One of them on a deep ball. He had to look over his shoulder and then look over the other shoulder and like try to refine the ball in the air. And I don't blame him for that drop. It was right. It was such a great throw by Jared. It's a really hard play for J-Mo to make. But there were a couple other plays where he just straight up dropped the ball. And come on, bro. It's one of those wins where it's kind of like Green Bay in week 0 because that game didn't count. It counted in the standings, but it didn't count for anything else. We threw the tape out on that one. Well, you can also throw the tape out on a win. Sometimes you win the game, and that's all that matters. And that's really what I felt from the Lions. I've thrown the tape out. I don't really give a shit about that game. Glad it's over. I think all the players are glad it's over. Glad that Hutch is okay, but still some injuries on that defense that we got to keep an eye on. Robertson, Terry and Arnold. Although Lions Reddit is in a damn civil war over Terry and Arnold. Basically, if you criticize him, you're a noob and you don't know ball. And I'm like, yeah, well, I don't want to do the Terry and Arnold thing yet. He's had a weird start to the season, a pretty rough start to the season. And if he ends up stinking, which I don't think he's going to stink. He's not Jeff Okuda, I think that's the bar. That's like you stink if you're Jeff Okuda. He's not Jeff Okuda. I just hope that moving forward, it's like, hey, if you have a top 5 pick, where was Terry Arnold taken? I don't think he was a top 5 pick. If you have a top 10 pick, where the fuck was he taken? 10 doesn't even sound right. No, that can't be right. We would have gotten him after we lost to San Francisco, right? So that would have been like the 30th pick. What am I talking about? It's not even the same thing. It's not even the same thing. Well, just as I'll say the take. It doesn't apply to him. It applies to Jeff Okudah, but it doesn't apply to him, I don't think, off the top of my head. Drafting a corner with a top 10 pick, dumbest shit in the world. Dumbest. It's like drafting a tight end. Might as well draft a fucking kicker at that point. Jesus. I mean, I'm trying to think of Jalen Ramsey. There's no way he was taken that high. I'm really trying to, like, Nnamdi Asomugha. I think he went in the first round, but I think he was like, I don't even know if that's true. He got drafted 15 years ago. How am I supposed to remember off the top of my head where Nnamdi Asomugha got fucking drafted? I don't remember that shit. Dumb thing to do. Lions won. 3-1. Cool. Let's move on to the next game. Ravens Chiefs. Well, we said on Friday, we were like, hey, the next time that we speak on this show, it's going to be scary hours for someone. Between the Chiefs and the Ravens, somebody's got to be 1-3. Both of these teams going into the Sunday 1-2. One of you guys has got to be 1-3, and it's pretty damn hard to imagine it's going to be either of you until the game kicked off. Hey, remember how for the last 2 years we've all been like, where the fuck is Kansas City? Who's this team in front of us? What's going on? What's going on? Oh, did you see that? Holy shit. Let's get that final score. I don't need to look it up. What is it going to be, 37-20? Of course I remember that. You think that didn't feel good for me? It actually didn't. It was 37-20. I was pissed a little bit. So Lamar, in the second half of this game, he blows his hamstring, and the Ravens were just getting the shit kicked out. It was 37-13. I think at the time that Lamar got hurt, maybe it was like 30-13 or something, but it was not going to happen. And I get the soft word right now is that Lamar was just like, whatever, throw Cooper Rush in there. Cooper Rush, fun fact, a really good buddy of mine who is now the coach of my former high school basketball team, went to school with Cooper Rush. And so there's some connective tissue there, and we root for Cooper Rush on this show. Good guy, good quarterback, good emergency quarterback. Didn't want to see him in that game. The fuck? Huh? I mean, you reintroduce Xavier Worthy into this starting 11 for Kansas City, and it just completely transforms the offense. One guy completely transformed the offense. And I also, maybe it's worth pointing out that the Ravens defense stinks, but it's not that they stink. It's that the whole defense is hurt right now. The whole defense is hurt right now. And so, like, what was it? How many points what was the score of the Monday night game? The Lions, I think they beat Baltimore. Was it 38-30? Does that sound right? Or something like that? So in the span of 6 days, your defense gives up 38 to Kansas City. I'm sorry, 38 to Detroit and 37 to Kansas City. Now, some give and take to that. It's like, well, yeah, those are kind of the two teams that you would give up that amount of points to. You know what I mean? Not so much this iteration of Kansas City, you wouldn't have thought. But they were firing on all cylinders today. That offense looked really, really good. The defense looked great. I mean, the two best, best play callers, the best play callers for defensive coordinators in the entire NFL, in some order, is Steve Spagnuolo, and Vic Fangio in Philadelphia. Those guys know how to dial up the blitz at the exact right time. And it was a masterclass from Spags today. And their ability to contain Lamar Jackson and to even pick him off. The first interception that he's thrown this year, Lamar Jackson. And it's just never gonna happen for that guy. I think that's my take. And another thing actually that we said on Friday in the last episode was like, the season from hell candidates, last year it was San Francisco, season from hell. You go from the Super Bowl to like just a complete dumpster fire because everybody's hurt. Nothing went wrong in terms of, well, it's not, okay, how do I say that? Well, everybody just got hurt. That's all it was. And so our candidates for season from hell were Kansas City and Baltimore. Whoever loses this game, it looks like it's going to be you. And then we also threw San Francisco out there again, despite the fact that coming into today, they were 3-0. Coming into Sunday, they were 3-0. And then they go to Jacksonville. Brock Purdy is back. And then, I didn't get to watch that game, so I'm not going to speak on it too much. I'm just letting you know all I saw was that they lost and that Brock Purdy was playing again. And so is it scary hours for San Francisco? a sneaky, like, the Colts piece of the season from hell is weird because did they end up losing to the Rams? Let me check that. Stafford had a nasty bomb to Tutu Atwell to, I assume, essentially close out the game under 2 minutes. It was like an 88-yard touchdown that he had. Yeah, the Rams didn't end up winning by 7, so the Colts have finally lost. So they're 3-1. Yeah, but the Colts starting 3-0, and then even if they end, what would the math be? 3-14? Is that what they would be? If they lose 14 games in a row, it's not a season from hell. You guys weren't supposed to be good. The Colts weren't supposed to be good. And so if they go like, no matter what, at this point, you've kind of just had a cool season. But I think their objective, it's a weird, they got some weird shit going on there. They're playing with house money. Who the fuck cares what, they go 3-0. Sure. Is it going to matter? I don't know, because Houston also stinks. Who's in that division? Who is in that division? Is it the... Oh, that's right. I'm getting confused. Aren't the Colts technically in the AFC South? So that would be... This is fucked up of me. This is like the one thing that I actually know like the back of my hand, and I have no idea right now. Indianapolis, Houston, Jacksonville. It can't be Tennessee. It can't be Tennessee. Am I really going to look up NFL divisions? I'm a grown-ass man. I've been watching football my whole life. And I'm like, who's in the Colts division? Who am I not thinking of? My final answer is, but I can't picture the Colts playing in Tennessee. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. Who am I not thinking of? It's Houston. They don't go to Jacksonville. What the fuck division are they in? What division are the Colts in? I can't believe I'm looking this up. Okay, it is the AFC South. I'm not insane. Okay. Who's in the AFC South? I mean, in all time, I'm mortified right now that I'm looking this up. I'm wearing this for you at home, okay? I'm owning this. Titans, Texans, who am I not thinking of? And the Jags, and that's that. That's the division, right? Who's in the AFC South? All right, we've Googled it. What did I just say? Texans, Titans, Jags? Yeah. So what was embarrassing? Nothing, because I knew it the whole fucking time. Obviously. What a dumpster division that is. Oh my God. Such a bad division. Jacksonville. Okay. Houston, the fall from grace for CJ Stroud has kind of stunk. Bears fans love to point out that ever since CJ Stroud, Lil Bro, Caleb Williams, he's been worse. He's had worse numbers. The team has been worse. Okay, cool. I think it stinks to see him, whatever. Tennessee, I don't know. I don't know if you see this, you hear about this. Cam Ward after the Titans game today, rookie quarterback. He was like, if we keep it a book, we ass. Yeah. I tell you what, that like graphic, like that clutch point style graphic, I'm going to keep it a book, we ass, is going to go quadruple, quintuple, platinum during NFL, the rest of the NFL, and even the NBA season. You know, I'm going to keep it a book. We ass. It's going to be crazy. Opening night NBA. We're going to see that thing flying around all over the place. It's a terrible division. Someone's going to have to fuck around and win, and I don't know how. At this point, maybe it will be Indianapolis. I have no idea. This is a very wordy way of just doing the year from hell thing, right? Baltimore Ravens, a season from hell. I am not declaring it yet. This is week 4. We are waiting until week 6. We are giving them 2 more games. Although I don't know when their bye is. So if their bye is in 2 weeks, we'll postpone it to week 7. But if they play the next 2 weeks, then 2 weeks from now is when we will officially stamp Baltimore as the season from hell contender. But as of week 4, they are the leader in the clubhouse. Now, you could look at this and you could say, well, Nick, they're just super banged up, and that's literally all that it is. There's no way that Baltimore doesn't make the playoffs. I would like to agree with you, and I actually do, and I believe that the way that this will play out for the Ravens is that they will back into the playoffs. However, well, they won't back in because they've backed into the start of the season, so they'll just have to punch through the rest of their schedule, right? That's really what it is. But at the same time, I would tell you that the injuries are like literally, that's the formula. Like formulaically, that is what creates a season from hell. You know, that's what we just talked about. That's what happened in San Francisco last year. So you have these nagging things, you have these lingering injuries, and it's kind of happening to Detroit right now, but it seems like they're kind of able to sort of battle through the adversity, whereas Baltimore is just kind of like, nah. And then you could also, if you're a Ravens fan, you could make the argument against Buffalo, if Derrick Henry doesn't fumble the ball, that's a competitive game, and we still like have a very real chance at winning, and we're 1-0. Against Detroit. If Derrick Henry doesn't fumble, that game could easily come down to the wire. With how the defense for the Lions was playing, I'm not too sure. But you know what I mean? Like, it's not, you cannot rule anything out. The offense is not the problem. My counter to that is like, well, we're literally 2 plays away from both of the Buffalo game and the Detroit game. We're 2 plays away from winning, potentially having a legitimate chance at winning those games. Okay? I don't disagree with you, but what I would say to that is, yeah, dog, sounds like you're having a season from hell. If there's just like that one play, there's just like that one thing that, fuck, if this one singular thing didn't happen, then we would have had a chance to win the game. Well, Lamar got sacked 7 times against Detroit, so it's not just one thing. You know what I mean? There's a lot here. There's a lot here. There's not like I don't know what Lamar's rushing numbers have looked like this year after 4 weeks in totality. I don't have that in front of me. It would take me too long to pull it up, and I'm not fucking Rain Man. It's not a numbers show. But my eyes tell me there has been, I don't know if this is an offensive line thing. I don't know what this is. Like, my eyes tell me when he does a read option, I think guys on defense in the 4 games that they've played so far are just smarter at containing him. After 8 damn years of Lamar Jackson, people are just better about, sealing the edge and forcing him back inside. We haven't seen that many holy shit, oh my God, Lamar Jackson MVP style runs through the first 4 weeks. I'm never going to be the guy to say, like, I don't know. I just don't think this is it. I don't know. Because I love Lamar, right? I saw a take earlier. Worst take I've seen. Terrible take. Terrible. It's not that bad. I'm just mad about stuff. And so, that Lamar Jackson and James Harden are the same guy. Bullshit. Shut up. It's not real. It's fiction. It's made up. I love James Harden. I viewed James Harden in Houston as an acquired taste. You either hated him or you hated him. Okay, let me start that again. You either hated him forever, period. Nothing's ever going to change my mind. This guy's manipulating the rule book and he's cheating. Or that, what I just said, and then eventually, damn, you're fucking sick. Eventually you just get on board with the Harden thing and you're like, but like you kind of look past all the foul baiting and stuff and the arm hooks. And you're just like, yeah, but you actually get like nasty buckets, If Lamar Jackson was James Harden, every single time he drops back to pass, he would be baiting a roughing the passer call. He throws the ball and then he dips his head into a defender who's going to run into him and boom, helmet to helmet contact. And that's it. A linebacker trailing him or right in front of him, I guess how it would be, tries to swat the ball down as Lamar's throwing it, and Lamar moves his head into the guy's hand because even a hand to the helmet in 2025, that's a roughing the passer call. Did I say pass interference earlier? I don't remember if I did. Roughing the passer. He doesn't do that. He doesn't even do the shit where, like, Mahomes does this, honestly. Not this year he has it. This year he's been, like, putting shoulders into dudes when he runs, and I like it a lot from him. But in the past, look, Mahomes has done the thing where he, like, goes to run out of bounds, and then he kind of slows down 2 millisteps before he actually gets out. So that way, whoever the defender is just railroads him. And it especially, God forbid, it's on the Kansas City sideline when that happens. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's baiting. You're baiting an unnecessary roughness call. Lamar doesn't do that shit, bro. He runs in the middle of the field and he gets down, or he spin moves and tornadoes the shit out of you, Wile E. Coyote style, and then it just goes down, you know? Or like if he does hit the boundary, right? If he does get the edge, he'll just run out of bounds. He'll just sprint out of bounds, and then he'll be running so fast that he has to jump over the little bench, right? He's not fucking James Harden. He's not James Harden. I don't know what it is, but it's not that. Get out of here. He's more like, I don't want to say he's Kobe, because the truth is that Lamar Jackson just loses every big game that he's in. He can't beat these guys. I don't know what his record is against Burrow off the top of my head, but he's beaten Patrick Lamar. Patrick Lamar? Sure, let's just, fuck it. Let's invent a quarterback. Let's invent a quarterback that Lamar Jackson has never beat before. Because there's a list of them. The list isn't very long, admittedly. How many times has he lost to a team in the NFC in his entire career? Like 3 times. He does not lose to the NFC. He doesn't beat Patrick Lamar either. No, but I don't know, bro. He's beat Patrick Mahomes 1 time in his career. Josh Allen, what is it? Like 2 or 3 times maybe? It sucks, man, to see a quarterback be that good and to just not win big games. And it's not even this year. It seems like we're going to be finger pointing the defense. It seems like that's going to be the plan this year. Last year, it was like maybe Isaiah Likely should have been wearing white cleats in Kansas City. And, you know, Mark Andrews, was it against Buffalo that he dropped a 2-point conversion, and that was the game. And so, you know, you're able to blame his tight ends, just blame his tight ends. Even though it's like you're blaming Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely, these are freaks. These are freaks. These are really, really good tight ends. 95% of the league would kill 10 of their players just to have a lottery ticket to have the chance to draft a guy like Isaiah Likely or Mark Andrews. I don't know about 10. I'm not killing 10 of my guys to have Isaiah Likely on my team. 1? I don't know what the take there is. But it's those are very, very good pass catchers, right? Very good blockers, too. So I don't know. I just think good for Kansas City. They look more like Kansas City than they have in the last since 2 years ago. Off the top of my head, I can't think of one game that they looked this good last season, and they won 15 games. They should have won 16, but I think in week 18 they were just resting everybody because it literally didn't matter. Even then they just looked terrible last year. They just looked bad. They won every single game, but they looked bad in every single one of them. I don't know. Baltimore, come on, man. I don't know. How are they going to do it? I'm very excited to watch. How are they going to do it? Meaning playoffs. I don't know how they're going to get there. They will. I got nothing on that, though. What other games do we have? We were talking about Bears, Raiders earlier. Do a quick little thing on this. Bears, Raiders. Well, because I had to watch that game, eventually I did turn off the Kansas City game. Once it was 37-13, I was like, okay. Shout out to, once I saw it was 13-37, my brain went into like Halo 3 era mode like 15 years ago. Do any of you remember when like 1337, like written out 1337, was like a meme? It stood for like it was like gamer speak for elite, but you pronounced it leet. Like for real, like Halo 3, like Arby and the Chief, the Machinima show by John something. What the hell is that? John Graham? Is that his name? Brilliant. Arby and the Chief. Brilliant television. 15 years ago. Motherfuckers, 1337. Leet. Saw that. Gave me a nice little chuckle. Is that a scoregami, you think? 37-13? No way. That's a relatively common score. That's happened at least 10 times before. I turned that shit off. And so I turned the Bears game on. And I got to tell you, if you didn't see, the Bears had a monster drive to take the lead in the last couple minutes of this game. There was maybe a minute and 30 seconds. I don't know if it was even a 2-minute warning. Maybe about a minute and a half left in the game for the Raiders to go down the field and try to kick a field goal and win the game after that Caleb Williams had a super gutsy drive. They sucked the whole game and they somehow stayed in it. And Vegas gets into field goal range and the Bears block the field goal. Guy on the edge actually gets the edge and blocks the field goal, and that's what you don't see. That's what you don't see in the NFL is the guy on the edge blocking the field goal. It's always the guys in the middle with the big paws, with the big mitts that block it. So the Bears are 2-2, and they get a massive win in Vegas, and I'm not mad. I really, look, what was it, a week ago that they kicked the shit out of Dallas, and it was like, that's funny for Caleb to have the best game that he's ever had in the NFL and for Ben Johnson to get his first win against the Cowboys. Who cares? That's funny. That's a good team to do that against, you know? Well, this second game against Vegas that they win, I'm just not mad about it. I don't know, and some of it honestly could be just the fact that me living here for over 6 years now in Chicago, I've just kind of softened a little bit to like the teams that are here, and except the Blackhawks, fuck them. And I see the Bears do that, which technically I should hate the Bears more than anybody else, but I don't. The White Sox don't even count. What am I supposed to be worried about them? Shut up. I don't know what it is. I just am kind of like, I think some of it is that I'm so excited for Caleb because I do think, even if I don't like the quarterback, it sucks to watch a guy early in his career, you know, go from being this supremely confident beast in college and then just get murdered in the NFL and it ruins their career and they're never able to get it. It stinks to watch that happen to somebody. Josh Rosen is a good example, but I don't think, honestly, maybe he's not a good example because he did not take it gracefully at all. And he was like, I'm literally the best player in the fucking world. And then for like 2 years, he was the worst quarterback that's maybe ever lived, ever. And was still kind of an asshole about it. So maybe he's not a good example, but it still stinks to watch that happen to somebody. And there's this clip of Caleb watching the field goal and watching it get blocked. And I think it's really cool that you see, like, the only one that comes to mind is Romo Dunze, and then there were a couple other players that immediately come up to Caleb Williams after the field goal's blocked, Bears win the game. Because they realize that everybody knows, like, the burden that's on the quarterback at the end of the day. That even if it's not your fault, Caleb Williams wasn't playing fucking defense and let the Raiders get into field goal position. Caleb Williams did his job by recovering from like an otherwise kind of shitty day. Just like the offense was kind of weird all day. And putting together, again, a super gutsy drive. I don't want to say gritty because that's trademarked by the Detroit Lions and Ben Johnson did not take that across Lake Michigan to Chicago. It was a gutsy drive. And he got him in the end zone, didn't get the 2-point conversion, but he got him in the end zone and he gave him the lead. And for his, his teammates to rally around him, I just thought it was cool. I just thought it was cool to see a guy just kind of like get his swag back a little bit, By the way, the Bears still might stink. I mean, they might win 6 games this year. Might not be good at all. But right now, again, I just, from on a very, very human level, I just mean it's cool to see him not in the mud after the year that he had last year. Still not worried about the Bears, which I think is why I'm able to be happy for them. Because even if later in the year when the Lions go to Soldier Field, if they lose the game, I'm going to be like, whatever. Who cares? Well, I guess I can't say that. I don't know what the standings are going to be. I can't say that right now. And maybe the Bears will have been on a rocket. I don't remember when we go to Chicago, if it's in a couple weeks. I don't know. I don't remember off the top of my head when we go there, or here rather, but yeah, good for the Bears. Any other notes that I had from this NFL weekend? I don't know. Oh wait, we got breaking news. Who the fuck is this? Super Bowl halftime performer has just been announced. I think the Super Bowl, I'm trying to pull it up right now. Is this Bad Bunny? Is that who this is? Is this Bad Bunny? Who the fuck is this? You can't open Twitter and Safari anymore because you have to have an account. But this looks like Bad Bunny. I think this is Bad Bunny. I'm going to Google Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny. No, not Bad Bung. Bad Bunny will headline Super Bowl. Okay. Is that 60 LX? 50 is LX. Yeah, Super Bowl 60. Bad Bunny in San Francisco. Okay. I mean, I don't know any. I can't sing any Bad Bunny songs because I don't know I know Spanish, but I don't know Bad Bunny Spanish. Although, you know what? I'm not even going to look this up. I'm 99.9% sure this is true. Puerto Rico, stand up. This is for you. Puerto Rico, this is for you. Anything is possible. Bad Bunny's doing the fucking Super Bowl. Is that cool? I don't give a shit about it at all. Damn it. I sent a text like 2 hours ago. I was so confident. I'm like, I think it's going to be Jay-Z. Because the NFL like sent out a tweet and they tagged Rock Nation. So I assume Bad Bunny is signed by Rock Nation. And I was just like, whoa, like Jay-Z did the whole, was it on the record that he did with Beyonce, the Carters? Was it on Ape Shit? Was it on that song where he's like, I said no to the Super Bowl. You need me, I don't need you. So I was like, whoa, Jay-Z, Hove, gonna do the Super Bowl? No, he's not. It's Bad Bunny. It's Mal. It's muy mal. What's bunny in Spanish? Mal, bunny. It's mal? It's muy mal. That's bad, right? I'm thinking of, yeah. I was getting confused with ugly, which is feo. Yo soy muy, yo soy muy feo. Porque, no sé. I don't know. I just am. I just kind of be this way. Yo soy muy guapo. Muy guapo. Bad Bunny doing the Super Bowl. That's cool. I kept seeing all these damn reports coming out over the weekend. Taylor Swift has made a decision and she's not going to do the Super Bowl. No shit, dog. We knew she wasn't going to do the Super Bowl. Huh? It's crazy. Crazy, nasty business. Bad Bunny doing the Super Bowl? Really? By the way, I'm not being naive to what his international reach is. I understand. I am acutely aware of how absolutely massive he is. And his role in Happy Gilmore 2. Very funny. Very, very funny. That's just such a funny movie. You know what? And Happy Gilmore 2, to me, really was one of those movies that was like, see Austin comics, comedians that live in Austin, Texas, who are mad that, well, I can't say retarded, and so they don't let you say nothing anymore. And then Happy Gilmore comes out and nobody says anything about, nobody calls somebody a or retarded, and it's just a funny movie. Nobody says anything that's wild just for the sake of shock factor. In the last episode, we got an email, what was her name? Lucia. Lucia sent in an email about Nick Fuentes, and she said something to the effect about, like, it surprised her that people still fall for, like, the internet shock value shit. And to me, like, a lot of these free speech comedians, again, are literally just mad that they can't call people retarded. And so that comes into, like, man, you can't say anything anymore, and you can't do anything anymore. But then again, like comedies, you couldn't make Step Brothers today. You couldn't make Anchorman today. You couldn't make Superbad today. That's another thing that they like to say is you couldn't make Movie X today. And even if, I guess I'm doing a lot of false equivalencies here, to be honest with you. But the point of what I'm saying here is, like, Happy Gilmore showed me that you could make a really funny movie that makes you laugh out loud without doing, like, shock value stuff. I'm trying to think. I don't think there was, like, one. It's just funny. It's a really, really good movie. Bad Bunny doing the Super Bowl. Porque está muy importante para the Hispanic community. Para the Hispanic community. Porque Mal Bunny es muy fuerte y muy guapo y let me get in my bag, folks. Let me speak a little. Go ahead and speak a little Chinese for him, Derek. Go ahead and speak a little Spanish for him, Nick. Okay, well, Bad Bunny's doing the Super Bowl. That's anybody whose favorite beer is Modelo is fucking psyched right now. It's cool. I'm sure it'll be cool. I'm just like, Despacito. That's not Bad Bunny. That's Bieber. Isn't that, is Bad Bunny in that song? Or is that Bad Bunny's song and Bieber's in it? Despacito. Something like that. Puerto Rico, stand up. This is for you. Bad Bunny doing the Super Bowl. Maybe if I just keep saying it, somebody else will be doing the Super Bowl. Would I have, because here's really what it comes down to is, would I have given a shit if it was Jay-Z? No. You gonna do Empire State of Mind? Cool. You gonna do, actually, what if Jay-Z did Tom Ford live at the Super Bowl? I would lose my mind. Tom Ford sunglasses. If you're not watching today's show, I am wearing my Tom Ford sunglasses. I don't know. I wouldn't have cared. Magna Carta Holy Grail. What a dumb album. Wasn't there a song with Justin Timberlake on there? Wasn't that like the big one that people really fucked with? That record came out when I was in summer school. I was in summer school when Magna Carta Holy Grail came out. And I remember being so psyched because it was like, as a hip hop head, as like a high schooler, it was the first Hove album that I got to like really listen to. Like when Watch the Throne came out, I was in 7th grade. Like I knew about the one song about him and Kanye hanging out in Paris. But like other than that, I didn't really like check. And I loved that, but I didn't really check out the record because I was 13. I didn't really give a shit. But by the time I was like 15, I was like, whoa, Hove got this new record. I know everything about Jay-Z, and I know everything about this culture. That was the same. Within a calendar year, it was like, was it Wolf? Is that what it was? By Tyler, the Creator, the album of him on like a bike, and it's like a cartoon. Was it Wolf? Is that what it is? That came out. Yeezus came out. Magna Carta Holy Grail came out, like I think a year later. Around the same time that Magna Carta Holy Grail came out, Nothing Was the Same came out, and then To Pimp a Butterfly came out, and then if you're reading this, It's Too Late came out. Matter of fact, Yeezus and Nothing Was the Same, didn't they both come out in 2013? Doug, when I was in high school, shit was popping off. Shit was cool. You know what? I think things used to be cooler when I was younger. I think when I was a kid, shit was cooler, and now that I'm adult, everything sucks. Is how this sounds. Bad Bunny doing the Super Bowl. That's cool. I mean, if you think people were pissed about, what the fuck message is this, by the way? Hold on. Pump the brakes. Well, hold on. Hold on to me. Let me pump my own brakes first. Let me let that take. I'm going to let that take marinate in my head while I say this next thing. People had like actual coronaries when Kendrick Lamar performed during the Super Bowl because they were just mad that he was performing the Super Bowl because he's not like Dolly Parton or something. And in the midst of this, like, I'm not trying to do a fucking Anderson Cooper, Don Lemon soapbox moment here, but in the face of the social and sort of political climate of America, you're going to put on the single biggest stage that we have in American culture, where literally the entire fucking country the game is on in every single household in America at the same time. And we have all these like agents running around in masks and like throwing Hispanic people in vans, and you want to throw this guy on TV? I'm just saying, it plays kind of. What's the take? What am I really saying? I don't know what it is. Bad Bunny, he wasn't doing shows in America on a recent tour. Wasn't it because he was like, I didn't want ICE to target my concerts? He knows what's up. Doug, we talked in the last episode about how they're in my community right now. It's not a show of force anymore. They are wrangling people up. Go to r/Chicago and sort through the posts from the last, by the time you're listening to this, 48 hours. While I'm taping this, the last 12 to 24. They're cornering people as they're walking. 15 agents will swarm somebody as they walk out of a fucking supermarket. Somebody is slinging a tamales out of a fucking food truck, and 20 agents surround the truck and yank her out and throw her into a van. Shit like that is happening in my community right now. And so I'm just saying, like, the people who are supportive of that are so charged. And so I don't know, like, you throw a Puerto Rican on a stage at the halftime of the Super Bowl. Those people are going to say, fucking cancel the NFL, boycott the NFL. Who's this fucking guy? Who's this guy? Does Bad Bunny have tattoos? God forbid he does. They're going to call him fucking MS-13. These people have never heard of Bad Bunny before. They don't know how influential this guy is. They don't know that this guy is like universal worldwide reach. You know? Maybe I'm getting mad about something that like doesn't even, maybe this won't even be a thing. I'd be really surprised if it didn't end up being a thing. I guess I'm just surprised also that it's Bad Bunny. Really? For San Francisco? There's just nobody, I don't know. Okay. Bad Bunny doing the Super Bowl. That'll be fine. I did not need to talk about that nearly as long as I did. So let's do some emails. Copingoursubs@gmail.com, spelled phonetically. Email available in the description wherever it is that you listen to this program. Got some good ones this weekend. Whoa! I mean, we're just getting. I mean, from 8:48 to 8:58. I'm taping this at 9:21. We got 7 emails. I don't know. Do we want to blind? Let me read the emails that I went into this planning I was going to do, and we'll make a decision on that later. Let's stick with football for a second, okay? This one comes into us from Landon. Landon, welcome back to the show, brother. Subject line, Penn State or State Penn? Hey, Nick, Landon here. Is it time for Penn State to throw James Franklin in prison? That seems to be the only solution left. They need to do something before his bad luck juice seeps into PSU sports for the rest of time. It seems that no matter who they have on this roster or how good they play, they will always come up short. I don't believe James Franklin is a bad coach. He has kept Penn State in contention almost every year he's been there. He just cannot deliver when it comes to big matchups. After the Oregon game, he is now 4-21 against top 10 teams. Is he just one of those guys who will never escape bad luck? Every single season since 2019 has been like a Final Destination movie trying to kill his career, and he will always narrowly escape. But just like the movie franchise, it has dragged on with nothing to show for, and fans are tired of it. The only way that I see Penn State breaking this curse is by letting him go. He's been on the hot seat since I was in 6th grade, and I just started college. I do think that they should part ways just to have hope on something different. Like clockwork, they've checked into big games and have lost. I think that the semifinal run was the worst case scenario for them because it gave hope that Franklin had finally turned it around. You're almost done with email. I'm going to break it right there for 2 seconds. Nailed that take, right? They were a game away from the college football championship. Was it Notre Dame that they lost to? That doesn't... Did Notre Dame lose to Ohio State in the Natty? They had to have. Yeah, I think I remember at the time being like, isn't it wild that either Notre Dame or Penn State is going to be in the Natty? Isn't that disgusting? I completely agree with this. Let's finish the email. Throughout all the talent coordinators and eras of Penn State football since 2016, James Franklin remains. It seems like they've changed every part of a broken car except the engine and still expect it to work on the next try. Yeah, bro, because they're changing the alternator and the spark plug and the wheels, the axles and the tires, and the engine is fine. P.S. I got really bummed out today because I found out that the real-life Rudy was kind of an asshole. Apparently, he was a Navy veteran, and the quote-unquote Rudy, Rudy chant started when he would sneak into amateur boxing tournaments and beat up 18-year-olds. He was carried off the field, but his teammates were just making fun of him because he was annoying. Sounds like Rudy rocks. He was offsides as hell. Yeah. What happens in that movie? Adrian Brody smokes a cigarette and blows up, and then he's like, I got to go sack the quarterback. And then it's Sean Astin. It's like, I got to go sack the quarterback. And that's the end of the movie. You got bummed out by that? Was like Rudy, for those of you who don't know, it's a football story, American football story. It's a guy who played for Notre Dame. He was like was he dyslexic or something? What was his ailment that was he worked in, like, his friend blew up from a cigarette or something. He tried to charge his Galaxy Samsung 7. And his head fucking exploded because he was doing that while smoking a cigarette in like a welding factory or something. Something happens in that movie where Adrian Brody smokes a cigarette and explodes. And but it's based on a true story, so I would have to look up. I don't know how to look up, did Adrian Brody really explode from a cigarette in real life? But I don't know. Rudy okay. Bummed about Rudy. I'm sorry that you're bummed about Rudy. It's too bad. I don't give a shit about that. James Franklin. That Oregon game was nuts. Big Dante Moore guy. Love Dante Moore. Big fan all season. Guy makes some big-time throws. Love Dan Lanning. Might be my favorite coach in college football. The last, 2 years. Just love the guy. And big win for Oregon. Number 6 on the number 6 on the road against number 3, Penn State. Whiteout, prime time, Big Ten matchup. Oregon, Penn State. Can you believe that? Big Ten matchup. Oregon, Penn State, wild, sick, nasty, freak shit. The TLDR of this is, I don't blame James Franklin for losing the game, really. Except they lose in double overtime, and going into the first overtime, like going into at the end of regulation, there's 30 seconds left in the game. and Penn State scores to tie it up. And all they have to do is, hit the extra point, and they tie it up and they go to overtime. At that moment, I just think you're at home. Oregon's defense is on the ropes. You have literally all of the momentum. If I'm not mistaken, I may be misremembering which side of the field the student section is on. Pretty sure they were going into the teeth of the student section. Again, someone can correct me on that if I'm wrong. You can correct me, but I'm going to respond with, well, it was still a fucking whiteout at Penn State. So that environment is hostile no matter what for the defense. I think you have to go for 2 there. And if you don't, that tells me you don't trust Drew Aller. That tells me you don't trust Katron. That tells me you don't trust Singleton. Unless there was an injury that I was not paying attention to, and the latter 2 guys, the running backs, were not, one of them wasn't playing or something. I just think it feels bad if you're Drew Aller. Also, you get into that second overtime, and when Oregon, in the second overtime, you have to go for 2 if you score. Oregon goes for 2. They get a damn interception and are millimeters away from housing it, completely housing it. Ball turns over, goes to Penn State. Now they just got to get 6 in a 2-point conversion, and they win the game. You go from almost housing a pick on a 2-point conversion, which I don't know, that wouldn't have been a touchdown. I imagine it just would have been, I don't know. In a real game, I think you just get 2 like a safety. I'm sorry, like not in a real game, in regulation. I don't think the 1-point safety exists in real life. I don't think that it does, but if somebody knows off the top of it, I think it just would have been 2. That wouldn't have won them the game or anything well, obviously it wouldn't have been because they were down by 6. But the point that I'm saying is you go from that high to the very next play, Drew Aller throws a fucking interception and the game is over. It's over in an instant. I just think it goes back to why did you kick the extra point? You had every piece of momentum that you were looking for and you kicked the damn ball. And I just think, to the emailer's point, to Landon's point, I think it is just kind of yeah, we are fucking losers. We are never going to win a big game, potentially. And that's why, to go back to why I stopped the email earlier, yeah, dog, their success in the playoff last year, ugh. And to talk about Katron Allen and Nicholas Singleton, woo! There's a non-zero chance that ends up being a backfield that rivals a receiver room that had Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson. Those dudes are freaks in the backfield. And the fact that during their entire careers, their numbers are the exact same. I mean, they're the exact same guys. And they're different players, but again, their numbers are they're so identical. It's bizarre how they're able to split the carries and find the exact same production. Wagons, complete wagons. But that Oregon team, Dan Lanning, what a little piece of shit. It's so annoying. Again, love the guy, but him after the game being that crowd is usually a 12th man, but today, I didn't even hear them. That was wild that I was not affected by the Penn State crowd. I'm like, bro, you're saying that shit because you won. And that is so, honestly, super relatable because I would do the same shit. And then if we lost, I would be like, well, these fans are racist. I would be like, these fans, if I was Dan Lanning and I lost that game, maybe James Franklin should do that. If I'm James Franklin and I lose that game the way that I do, I'm going to the media after the game. I'm saying James Franklin said it to me. He said the word to me when he shook my hand, and he's racist, and Oregon's fans are racist. I'm crashing the fuck out. And I'm shifting the focus. It's like flooding the zone. You just dish out so many takes and so much information that people don't know what the fuck to focus on. That's like the Steve Bannon playbook, honestly. If James Franklin would just go full Steve Bannon and was like, if you think I should be fired, you're a racist. You're a racist, and then what's the opposite of a misogynist? If you hate men, like a femcel? Even if you're a man and you hate me and you want me to be fired, you're a femcel. Well, that's just a girl incel. Him-misogyny? Him-misogynist. You're a racist and a him-misogynist. If you want me to be fired, if I'm James Franklin, because what the fuck are they going to do? What are they going to do? Although, I don't know. You talk about today's social climate. Maybe some people would be like, yeah. Actually, yes. That is exactly why I want you fired. Remember last year when Jason Kelsey was at Penn State and a kid walked up to him and he was like, your brother's gay because he's dating Taylor Swift. Or no, he said your brother's gay because he's dating Taylor Swift. And Jason Kelsey took his phone and smashed it and was like, who's the now? And everybody, social media as a collective, just kind of was like, fair play, honestly. We just let it slide. We were like, yeah. ESPN was like, yeah. Wave Sports and Entertainment, the people who do his podcast, they produce his podcast. They distribute it. They were like, yeah, fair play. Just do an apology as like a formality, and then like we'll move on. But also, like, I just love that kid rocks at Penn State. Like walking up to Jason Kelsey and being like, your brother's gay because he's dating the biggest pop star in the world, who is a woman, by the way. That's so funny to me. Yeah, Penn State got murdered. Let's do a different one. This one comes into us from Jamal. Another email. Whoa. It's a Bad Bunny email. It's a Bad Bunny. This came in 0 minutes ago. It came in at 9:31 and it's 9:32. Okay, we'll do this one because it's a Bad Bunny email. Maybe I'm bumping the screen behind me. I don't know if that just messed up if you're not watching this show, it doesn't matter. Let's get to the email. This comes into us from Joseph. Joseph, what's up? Welcome to the show, brother. Subject line is Bad Bunny, and then in quotes, Ba Bunny, Spanish pronunciation in parentheses. Hi, Nick. Several time, long time here. In parentheses, you said conflict of interest disclaimer. I am Mexican. The NFL just announced that Bad Bunny. I'm gonna say Bad Bunny, by the way, brother. I'm not gonna do Ba Bunny. I'm not gonna do that shit. I'm not gonna sound. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna do that with my voice because we all know how I sound if I do it. So I'm gonna say Bad Bunny, but that's not how you're typing it. Let's do it. The NFL just announced that Bad Bunny is the Super Bowl halftime show, and I've noticed an almost immediate hatred of that pick. I fucking knew it. I knew people were gonna get mad about this. Well, but you didn't say it was racism yet. So let's keep reading the email. Because that got announced while we were doing the show, by the way. So I got a text from my brother about it. So, okay, let's do it. I don't know. I kind of like it. I've liked the NFL's recent trend of not picking whatever absolute soulless pop artist is big that year. In parentheses, you said Coldplay. Yeah, Katy Perry did that one. Remember? She like rode a big giraffe or something. Very wild show. Was it a giraffe? I don't care. Don't tell me what it was in the comments. I don't want to know. Don't send me pictures about it over the email. I don't want to fucking know. But to your point, yes, that is the thing. Back to the email. The NFL has obviously been trying to get into the market of countries and of other countries, and they definitely view the Hispanic market as an untapped one. Lord knows Mexican foos will kill a distant cousin in the town over for supporting the wrong soccer club. These are the type of fans that we need. Anyways, I also saw somewhere that he said he wouldn't do any shows in the U.S. due to ICE raids. There you go. However, I really think he'll probably use the show to protest, quote unquote, it like Kendrick last season. And I will be irrational and say that if you don't like the pick, you hate Hispanics. There you go. I'm telling you, Joseph is going full Steve Bannon here. He's doing the thing that we just fucking told James Franklin to go full Steve Bannon and say, if you, as a minority, if you don't like the thing that's happening, you're a fucking racist. I love this, Joseph. You're right. You nailed this. More people should do this. They shouldn't, but more people should do this. Let's get back to it. What do you think of it? Of course, you're the only person who cannot like it and still like Hispanics. I do like it. Whatever. You say obligatory take. After seeing that absolutely insane field storm Friday night between Virginia and Florida State, I really feel like we're one cracked neck or dead frat bro away from the quote-unquote field storm ban actually being enforced. That led me and my friends thinking of ways to actually stop a field storming, and I was thinking a bunch of those water hoses that firefighters use would be pretty funny. What's a way that you would enforce the ban? Yeah, if you didn't see, Florida State got upset. I was watching that shit live, bro. Florida State got upset by Virginia, and it was maybe the most aggressive field rush you've ever seen in your life. There's a Florida State player on the ground, and then 10,000 kids just, is that guy alive? Like, I'm serious that immediately the game was like hardly over for a fraction of a second, and 5,000 kids are already on the field. It was wild. Banning storm rushes. I'm sorry, banning like storming the field or storming a court in college basketball, I think is for real loser shit. Is someone going to get hurt someday? Probably. But But you want to go like full civil rights era using fire hoses on fucking 18-year-olds who are fucked up on like ketamine and beers. Get off the field! And they're just trying to like steal field goal posts and like take them down a highway and dump them into a river. And they're the problem? Leave them alone. How about that? Try that one on for size. It's a one size fits all. To go back to your Bad Bunny email though. I don't know. Like, do I like it? I feel like I kind of was just like, I mean, it's just funny how this worked out. I didn't know what your email was going to be. So unfortunately, I mean, everything in your email was kind of just stuff that we already talked about. I guess I do have a question like, however, I really think he'll probably use the show to protest it like Kendrick last season. I don't think Kendrick Lamar protested in a meaningful way at all. At all. Because unless you are like super in tune with how he communicates, and you know, like when he's talking about like 40 acres and a mule, you know how many people know about what that means? What 40 acres and a mule actually means? If you're not a black person, and that's kind of like, you know what I mean? How many white people know what that means? 10% in America? 10%. So like when you have to watch like videos that dissect, you know, the subliminal messages of whatever images or physical things that Kendrick was saying in his performance, and like the layers to what he's saying, you're not effectively protesting at all. And I don't think that's what I would call that. He had a really great performance and I had a lot of fun with it. You know, the whole like obviously, you know, teasing the whole not like us thing. And then at the end you stick the landing and it's very fun. Say Drake and smiling at the camera. So fucking funny. It was a great performance. And I think I thought the little, I don't want to call it a track list, the set list, I guess is what you said. I thought the performance was great. It's tough if Bad Bunny goes. So this goes back to what I was saying earlier, honestly, about I don't think I did a good job of like connecting the dots, but you setting in this perspective is kind of what I'm talking about. Like, what the fuck is Bad Bunny supposed to do? Is go up there and be like, fuck ICE? Like, you and I would sit here and be like, good for you, brother. Like, I'm worried about you. Like, stay safe. Make sure you, you know what I mean? Like, make sure you got your people around you and they got them things on them. But like, whoa, that's a real powerful thing to do. I don't know. What does that... Because if you have a Puerto Rican at the halftime of the Super Bowl with 100 million Americans watching it at the same time, and he said, a Hispanic guy says, fuck ICE. Well, I don't know, 70 million people just voted for the guy who wants ICE to be a thing. So in turn, if we're being generous, at least 60 million of those people are like, yes, these people shouldn't be in our country, and they are terrorists, and they are thugs, and they are rapists, and they are murderers. You know? And they see, as far as they care, a guy who might as well be lumped in with everybody else, be like, fuck ICE for trying to send me out of this country. They're going to call him a Mexican. They're going to call Bad Bunny a fucking Venezuelan. They're going to call him MS-13. They're going to call him what is it? Trendeawagua? Oh my God. Trendeawagua? Is that what it, that's not what it is. What the fuck is it? They're going to say the craziest shit about him, man. And then there's going to be people like you and me who are just like fucked up watching the Super Bowl and like getting their shit off. You know what I mean? I don't really know that many of his songs, to be honest with you. If I heard a lot of, I'm sure if I looked at his Spotify and I listened to 2 seconds of some of the songs, I'd be like, oh yeah. Oh, this is him? Oh, this is him too? I'm sure, but like, you know what I mean? I can't sing along. For Kendrick, I could sing along. For this though, I'm just going to be like that. You know that meme of that gypsy kid and he's in the club and he's got his sunglasses on, and if you're watching today's show, he's kind of dancing like this. That's going to be me when Bad Bunny's on, because I'm going to be rolling off like 8 beers at halftime. I'm going to be like, porque está muy importante para mí ir al baño. Because I have to pee or something like that. I don't know. Si se puede. He's going to be like that's honestly, there it is. You know what? I just had to riff about this for a little bit, and I finally found the take. I found it. He can say literally whatever he wants in Spanish. Yeah. How do you say, should we? I'm not saying that. We should. I'm gonna bleep that anyway, so I don't need to. I'm gonna bleep that anyway, so it doesn't matter. If you ask, how do you do this? I'm really just. This is sort of a roundabout way. How do you say this? Bad Bunny. Si se puede. Si se puede. What can we do? Si se puede means yes, we can. So what can we do? We can. I can't. I just bleeped that. I can't say it again. So we're gonna move on. Bad Bunny's doing the Super Bowl. Let's do a different one. This one comes into copingoursubs@gmail.com, spelled phonetically. Email available in the description wherever it is that you listen to this program. This one comes into us from Jamal. Jamal is this guy sends in some shit, bro. It's always funny. It's just wild. Let's do a little bit of hoops, I guess. The biggest what if in NBA history. I believe, Jamal, welcome back to the show, bro. I believe that we are living in the world's darkest timeline, and it's all centered around one event. The Ball brothers having weak-ass ligaments and tissue. All three have dealt with major ankle injuries, which set them back in their careers greatly. Lonzo Ball fucked up his ankle bad before his knee. I personally believe that ankle injury led to his future knee problems. Everyone blames the Big Baller brand and LeVar Ball working them too hard, but I think his ankle weakened his leg. As a rookie, Lonzo was a lot like LaMelo with the ankle injuries, but once he had his ankle on lockdown, it fucked up his knee instead. I know for certain because the same thing happened to me, and it happens all the time when I play football with ankle tape and shit. LaMelo can barely play because his ankles... LaMelo can barely play because his ankles. We've been knowing this. And Jello. People said Jello was too fat and slow to play in the league, but what non-ball in the family watchers wouldn't know is that Jello was constantly playing on major ankle sprains. If all three Ball brothers had stronger ankle ligaments, they'd be running the NBA. Without ankle issues, LaMelo is Trae Young with defensive potential. Lonzo Ball with good ankles is an all-time defender, an elite shooter, and an elite passer. We are talking about a 6'6" Rondo with a jumper. And Jello would have been an elite six-man scorer who could defend up against the largest forwards in the paint. If that were reality, I think Trump wouldn't be president. I think Jews would chill in Palatine. I think China be nicer because they're focused on the Ball brothers to be mean, and I think the Democrats would be sweeping the White House. So, right, so the first part of the email, you're probably like, it's mostly normal email, and then you get to the end, Palatine. The Jews would be normal in Palatine, is what Jamal said. I don't know. LaMelo would be, no, bro. I don't think anything would have convinced LaMelo to care. He got exactly where he wanted to get, and he's going to get paid a shit ton of money, and that's it. And that's it. And some seasons, he's going to play 20 games, and in others, he's going to play 60. If we look that up right now, let's think about this. How many times do you think LaMelo was drafted in, 2020? So this is going to be, is this year 6? Is that what that math is? So if he's played 5 years, how many years has he played 60 games? Off the top of your head, I'm looking it up right now. I'm going to say the page is loading. If you're watching today's show, you can see I'm looking away. Twice. I think he's done 60 games twice. That sounds about right. 51, 75, 36, 22, 47. Nope, he's done it once. He's done it once. It has been 5 years, though. 51 games, 75, 36, 22, and most recently, 47. No. All-star in year 2. Crazy. Rookie of the year, obviously, in his first year. What does China have to do with this? I don't think China would be happy about this at all. In this scenario that you've created, I don't think China would be happy about this. I don't. Because remember when he was at UCLA and they went to China and he stole some shit from he stole like headphones. I don't remember what he stole. And then he got kicked out of the country, he got deported, and then they kicked him off the team, and then that's when him and LaMelo, they went to Lithuania. Listen, bro, I watched Ball in the Family, all right? And that's how I ended up realizing that I think LiAngelo is the best out of all three of these guys. For real. I think people who watched the show, that was their take, was that Jello is actually the best player. For real, no bullshit. And so they go over to Lithuania, and they're playing in this, fake league, and he's just murdering people. And then there was a game where didn't Jello have... I swear it was like 120 points in a game. Like, he went off. And you're like, holy shit. I don't care who you're playing. You score 100 points in a game. I don't get, you're playing grown men, you score 100 points a game. That's a lot. No, dude, they were, the team that they were playing with in Lithuania, they were playing like a 12-year-old Chinese team. What the fuck was that all about? No, I think they probably don't. And if he doesn't do that in China, if he doesn't steal that shit, does he rock at UCLA? Where does LaMelo go? Does he also go to UCLA? Because that was the whole thing. Is the recruitment of LaMelo Ball was something that, in a lot of ways, we were robbed of. Could you have imagined that guy in March Madness? Are you kidding me? That guy in I don't know, I guess if he went to UCLA, well, by the time, but when he would have gone to UCLA, they wouldn't have been in the Big Ten. So it would have been a Pac-12 championship, like a Pac-12. Get the fucking takeout, Nick. Jesus. Can you imagine LaMelo Ball in a Pac-12 tournament? I don't know. They do the early season tournaments in like Maui and all these different random places. I don't know. What would that recruitment have looked like? Lonzo would have had an elite jumper? No, bro, because, and you mentioned this, the Big Baller brand. When you wear when you wear for real fake shoes for 2 years, I don't know how much of that had anything to do with anything. It is wild that we've kind of already moved past when Stephen A. Smith was like, I have it on good authority that Lonzo Ball can't get up the stairs without help. And then Lonzo responded on Instagram by posting a video of him being like, it's like ALS ice bucket challenge style. He's like, Stephen A. Smith, I am calling you out because I can stand up. And then he stands up in his chair. And he's like, no, I challenge you to do it. But if you watch the video, it actually looked like he kind of labored a little bit to get out of the chair. Now, for what it's worth, it doesn't matter anymore because at this point he's fine and he's in Cleveland. It doesn't matter. This was 2 years ago. I have it on 100% confirmed authority, guaranteed, stamped, sealed, and signed. She's not my lover like Billie Jean, but the kid is mine. Authority that Stephen A. Smith was not lying. He was not lying. I know for a fact he was not lying. I saw it with my own eyes. At a place here in Chicago, security footage. Saw that shit. I saw him going upstairs. And then his team asked where the elevator was because they didn't want him to have to go back up the stairs. So they took the elevator. He wasn't lying. He wasn't lying. It just ended up being a funny video from Lonzo. I don't think you can get LaMelo to care. If you can't get that guy to care about like other people's safety when he's driving a car, you know what I mean? Like shit like that. He is very much one of those people that like the real old head NBA guys always complain about is like how many of these dudes, just because of how lucrative it is to be an NBA player, if like you're even decent. Well, I guess Cam Thomas is decent and it hasn't been that lucrative for him. Tough summer he's making a fucking, $5 million? What was the qualifying offer that he just accepted? He's fine. But nah. No, Lonzo's had a good career. I mean, it's really sucked the way that it's played out for him. Well, and LaMelo, honestly, and the fact that Jello is just kind of a dumpster. I remember in an episode of Ball in the Family, you know, LeVar spent so many years talking about my boys are. I'm not gonna do a LeVar impression. That's gonna get weird. It's gonna be like I don't know if you can do. It's like blackface before your voice, black voice. No, you can do that because like I can do Steve Harvey and that's not a problem. I just don't want to do the LeVar thing right now because he's just too animated and I don't want to do it. But he was like, you know, you get my boys they're never gonna get tattoos. It's never gonna happen. And then Jello got one, and then LaMelo got all of them, and then Jello also got all of them, and Lonzo has some of them. And LeVar is like, well, I'm gonna go get my foot cut off because I have diabetes or something like that. And now he's got a prosthetic, and he looks like he's in great spirits and. It's great to see the big baller up. I don't want to see him down. He's a funny guy. Remember when he told, what was her name? Kristen Leahy? Was that her name? The woman who worked with Colin Cowherd. When she was like, I think she asked him like how many t-shirts he's been selling. She asked LeVar that. And he like didn't even look at her and he just like put his hand up in her direction. He was like, stay in your lane. And then they just started selling shirts that said, stay in your lane. You know what? He and LeVar Ball and Dave Portnoy have so much in common because they're both so good at, Like, they say insane shit that will really piss you off, but they're not saying it in a rage-baity way. They just have bad takes sometimes, like terrible takes sometimes. But what they're both good at is creating a spectacle out of something and, like, joining in on a hype train. And I don't want to say making it about them, but, like, knowing how to make something out of it so that people are drawing, so that eyes are going to you about the thing. You get what I'm saying? Very, very good at creating spectacle. Both of them are. And LeVar just kind of went away. And the Ball brothers are, I mean, they're all successful. They're all very successful. Power ranking them. Jello is still my favorite. I honestly couldn't give two shits less about his rap career. Some decent songs in there. His cipher for Double XL was the dumbest shit. I mean, all of them are. That's just not like the freshman ciphers just aren't really good anymore. His was like especially whack though. And what's the kid's name? Ian. Also thought that one kind of sucked. All of them did. Number 2, I just think LaMelo's just kind of a knucklehead. It's funny, but also I just like, as a hooper, I just Lonzo more. That's not true. I don't give a shit. Jello's my favorite. All right, folks. Spotify. Favorite Ball brother? You got a favorite Ball brother? Or like, is there one? You could also answer in the opposite way, where like if you're like, yeah, like Lonzo's cool and like Jello's cool, but I fucking hate LaMelo. Something like that. Give me like your Ball family take. What do you got for me? Those boys have been through a lot, man. With their dad, I made the joke about him getting his foot amputated, but that's brutal. And then their mom. This was also a storyline on Ball in the Family a couple years ago when she had a stroke. And her recovery and that journey. And those boys have been through a lot. They live in a nice house in Chino Hills. And sure, they live in nice houses, respective to where they are now. It's still very, very hard things to go through, to watch your parents have to go through that stuff. So honestly, empathy. I'm directing my empathy in their direction. Apple Podcasts. What's up? If you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, nice little comment for the algorithm. Make sure to keep primary control in check. And I will catch you guys in the next one.
Beautiful. Primary control. Beautiful. Primary control. Beautiful. Primary control.